Hey guys, my name is Dan and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking all about Arsenal versus Liverpool at Anfield. Game number three of the season. Not really ideal, but it is what it is. It's always going to be a tough game. It's always going to be difficult and stressful. Obviously, by now everyone knows the score. Obviously, we managed to lose 1-0. Hugely unfair, in my opinion. I think a draw would have been the fair result. Um, I thought, the starting 11 was decent. Marino starting was a bit of a surprise. I was really disappointed that Eze didn't start. I was hoping that he'd start. I kind of expected him to start. I knew Odegaard wasn't going to. I knew Saka obviously wasn't going to play. He's out for a month or so. Um, Perfect opportunity to bring Eze in and have him play his first game for the club. Obviously, he's played against Liverpool already this season and did quite well with them against them. So yeah, San Marino is kind of slightly too defensive for me, unfortunately. Um, but I think the rest of the starting lineup was pretty decent, for what we've got available. And then Saliba goes and gets injured 3 minutes into the game. You're thinking, okay, cool, this is how this is going to go then. Hugely disappointing. Obviously Odegaard came off the bench. We'll talk about him in a minute, but he's been injured for a little while now. Saka's out for a while. Kai Havertz is out for a while. Jesus is not ready yet. It's like, okay, cool, one more injury. It's not like we're not used to it already. And then bringing on the kid Mosquera, obviously, is hugely inconvenient and not ideal, really, to bring in such a young defender in. We've only just signed the kid. He's done alright so far in the minutes that he's gotten, but you're not really ideally going to put him in against Anfield for pretty much the whole game. Um, but we had to bring him on. Obviously, there's a reason why we got another centre back. It's probably why we're looking at other centre backs right now. Everyone's like, well, we're buying another centre back or another back. But yes, because all of our players are getting injured at the moment. It's quite aggravating. So yeah, Mosquera coming on, and he had a phenomenal game. I think him and Madueke. I'll talk about him in a minute, but he had a phenomenal game. I think he was one of our best players. To be honest with you, outstanding. Out of all the annoyances and all the negativity around this game, Saliba going off is a negative, but Mosquera coming on was actually a positive. Is one of the good things about the game that happened. So great, cool. Obviously reinforces your belief in the recruitment people. They obviously know what they're doing now, which is nice. Um, Having to rely on him so early in the game and so early in the season is not ideal because you don't know how serious the Saliba injury is yet. It looked like an impact injury to me. I thought Ekatike stood on his foot, but if it's a muscle thing, if it's a broken bone, obviously it's going to be weeks at least. So yeah, we've got that to look forward to. Um, but yeah, I mean, I thought the whole first half of the game was pretty much just to contain Liverpool. We did that. We outplayed them in that first half. I'm pretty sure they didn't have a whole shot on target that whole first half, if I'm not mistaken. Nullified them, to be honest with you. Dominated the game. Obviously, we allowed them to have a lot of possession, but apart from that, they didn't really do anything that whole entire first half. Which is decent. Obviously, your main one of your best centre backs has just gone off injured. Containing them 0-0 at Anfield is a good thing. Um, and then you think, okay, half time, maybe some subs in the second half, let's go for it. We kind of didn't really do that until the last 10 minutes or so of the game. Um, Martinelli, for me, mate, I love Martinelli. He's one of my favourite players, but it's pretty impossible to defend him now. The amount of times he runs head down along the side of the pitch, gets to the corner, and then just doesn't do anything and loses the ball. It's extremely aggravating, and he does it all the time, and it's starting to get a little bit annoying. Um, we played far too long in this game, from my opinion. I think Eze should have come on about 15 minutes, 10 minutes earlier than he did. Because it was night and day. Eze just offered so much more down that left hand side. Madueke on the right hand side was doing brilliantly. Arguably my player of the match. I thought he did really well. Uh, really not missing Saka too much. I mean, you obviously think Saka probably would have had an impact in this game. But apart from that, we weren't crying out for Saka. Madueke did very well on that right hand side. looking more and more like a really, really astute signing. Brilliant. I think he still needs to form a little bit more of a connection with Timber. Him and Timber seem to be a little bit disconnected in this game for me. Timber didn't have his best game. I think part of that is because he's still getting used to Madueke, but still, Madueke had a brilliant game in my opinion. Gyökeres was a ghost that whole first half. Pretty much the whole game, to be honest with you. Their two centre backs kept him quite quiet. We weren't offering enough, nowhere near enough service to him. We weren't playing to Gyökeres at all. Until Erdogan came on, and when Erdogan came on, there was a lot more. Suddenly, there was a lot more passes into Gyökeres, and I think Gyökeres had a really good last 10 minutes or so, but too little, too late. Eventually, with Gyökeres, unfortunately. But it is what it is. He's a star striker. They're going to double down on him. Um, I think Madueke had Kirkes in his back pocket the whole game. So it's a little bit mismatched, to be honest with you. Some of Liverpool defenders dealt with Gyökeres quite well, but couldn't deal with Madueke at all. And if we just had a little bit more of an Eze threat down the left hand side, I think we could have really caused them trouble. Liverpool league goals for fun, and it's a really bitterly disappointing that we couldn't score a goal against them. Because defensively they are frail and they are there to be got at. But I would say probably not at Anfield. You know, people saying, "Oh, they should have gone out and tried to win the game." And so, why is the onus on Arsenal? We're the away team, for God's sake. It should have been on Liverpool as the home team to win this game, go out and win it, and they only won it by a glorious, you have to say, world class free kick. Some people trying to blame Raya. I think it was unsavable. I think if he'd been standing on that side of the goal and jumped up 7 foot in the air, maybe he would have saved that goal. But I think it was unsavable in my opinion. And set piece FC gets done by a set piece. No one's complaining about Liverpool scoring a set piece. Couldn't score an open play goal to save their lives. I think a 0-0 would have been the fair result in this game. But it is what it is. Sometimes you just get we did it twice against Madrid last season. You just do a really world class free kick, and that's it. Talking about Rice, I think Rice had a very poor game. I don't think he was terrible, but he was not at his best. His corners were crap. He skied a free kick in the first half, if memory serves. He had a poor game, and I'm hoping that he kind of improves in the next games because it's been off for me this season so far, but maybe people want to disagree with that. I don't know. The onus being on Arsenal to try and win a game. Like, we've gone to Anfield countless times and tried attacking them, tried going at them, tried making chances, and left ourselves open and lost 5-1. That's multiple times. Sorry, I apologise on behalf of Arsenal Football Club that we didn't make it entertainment for you. We didn't lose by a massive amount of goals just for your entertainment so you can banter us. Anyone complaining that Arsenal are too rigid and too disciplined and too defensive, well, cool. I'm just taking that you're just bitterly disappointed that we didn't get smashed for once. This should have been a draw. I think a draw would have been a very respectable result against Liverpool at Anfield. And we considered a free kick, but you can't really argue with that. You can argue that we didn't create enough. Eze wasn't brought on quick enough. Max Dalman instead of either Maneri or someone else, it's questionable. I mean, Dalman's quite direct, and I think that was calculated to cause chaos in Liverpool box, and he kind of did a little bit, but Liverpool defence, they're no mugs. And even a 15-year-old can't do much against them, unfortunately. So, it's disappointing. People saying the season's over. I'm like, dude, really? It's game 3 of 38. The only silver lining about this is that, there's still 35 more Premier League games to play. We still have them to play at home. The season's not over, the beginning of the first day of September. It's ridiculous and stupid. You make yourself look foolish by saying that. It is what it is, and that's the only good thing about playing Liverpool at Anfield this early in the season. The negative, obviously, is that it's such a difficult game to play at the beginning of the season, but the positive is that it's over now. Arguably our biggest most difficult away game of this entire season is done now. We got battered by a one nil free kick goal. It's not like we got battered. Like I said, it's not like we got beat, but comprehensively. Liverpool wide open at times in this game. Arsenal controlled the game a lot. We nullified each other quite well. Um, People blaming Arsenal for not trying to win the game. Well, Liverpool didn't try and win the game either. They just got a freak goal, and nothing else. To be honest with you, so yeah, people saying we should have had a couple of penalties. Yeah, cool. We're never ever gonna get a penalty at Anfield. They're never gonna allow us to have that, especially in this kind of current PGML climate. It's just never going to happen, to be honest with you. I'm surprised he booked a Liverpool player first before an Arsenal player. That was pleasantly surprising, but it is what it is. So yeah, we've got the international break now. We've got Forest game in a couple of weeks. I'm looking forward to that. Get our season back on track, try and get a win against Forest. They got battered by West Ham, so there's absolutely no excuse for us not to win. If West Ham can beat you, then anyone can, and we should be beating them. So hopefully we can get bounced back against Forest. Do really well in that, get 3 more points, keep going, shake this defeat off. I'm not used, as an Arsenal fan, I'm not used to suffering a defeat at a top 6 team, or traditional top 6 team, because, most of these top 6 teams are not actually in the top 6 at the moment. Man United, for example. So yeah, I'm not really used to it. It's kind of gutting, to be honest with you. I'm not enjoying it, to be honest. I think, yeah, like I said, I think a draw would have been a decent result. A fair result, to be honest with you. So it's bitterly disappointing. And, Liverpool fans are weird and annoying and insufferable anyway. So allowing them to have a win against us is quite annoying as well. But it is what it is. That's what football is. You win some, you lose some. It's just bitterly disappointing that a massive winning run or not losing run against the top 6 is kind of over now. But we can start again. We did it once. We could do it again. So yeah, I mean, there is. I wouldn't say positives. There's non-negative things to think about in this game. Obviously, it's a free kick. Can't really do too much about that. You can't blame Raya, even though people are, which is weird. And also, it's over and done with now. Arguably our worst game of the year is done now, in the league anyway. So, yeah, it is what it is, and we'll just shake it off and go again. Hopefully Odegaard's back fully now. He came off the bench and did really well for me, in my opinion. Was never going to start this game, so that's fine. But yeah, some of our players back. Hopefully Sleeper's only out for a couple of weeks and he's back, but I've got a funny feeling he's going to be out for longer. Yeah, I'm just keep going again. That's what it is, really. Yeah, good luck to Liverpool. They're going to sign Isak now. They're going to sign Gehi as well. I mean, it's another 200 million on the 200 million, 250 million they've already spent. I think it's like over £500 million now in the last couple of months. So yeah, clear favourites now. If they don't win everything this season, then it's a failure in my opinion. People saying that they're going to win the league this year. Cool, they should be. The amount of money they spent, the amount of players they've gotten, they've broken the transfer record twice and once in summer. So they have any team that does that has to be the nailed on favourites of the title. Fair play to them. I don't think they showed themselves champions material this season. If people want to slam Arsenal, cool, but the same flip of the coin. You say, well, they just managed to slightly beat their title rivals. So, yeah, it is what it is. You can't be negative to Arsenal about that and then be positive to Liverpool about that because it's two sides of the same coin. That's what I'm trying to say. Anyway, I'm not going to run too much more. I'm annoyed still, to be honest with you. It's been like 12 hours since the game. So, anyway, guys, I might be back later in the week if we make any more signings. I don't think we will. I mean, Hincapié is going to be signing today or tomorrow, so I might do a video on him. And if anyone else as well, Deadline Day is coming up like soon as well today, I think. So, if we sign any more players, I'll do a video. I'll try and do a Hincapié video tomorrow, and that'll pretty much be it till the Forest game. So, and if you live in Perth, by the way, if you live in Perth, WA, we're all going to the Globe in the city and the CBD to watch that. So, if you haven't seen the group, if you haven't seen the event, down to that because we're all going to be down there. It's going to be a massive crowd, so it should be fun. So, yeah. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Have a really good couple of weeks. Have a good weekend as well, or good week, should I say? It's Monday now, and yeah, I'll see you guys very soon. So take it easy. Adios.